Concord was supposed to be an Overwatch killer, and yet it ended up killing itself because of its woke content. It's absolutely funny. And now the game developer is lashing out at gamers because gamers didn't come in and play this. We're going to show you exactly what happened through this entire saga of the drama of Concord. Absolute disaster. And it couldn't happen to a nicer game or development studio. All right, my name's John Delarose. Everybody, please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about the most important things in culture. Really appreciate you for being here, and it means the world to me to have you continue to be within our community. Of course, we don't lash out at people because it's ridiculous. But we do create our own work as well. If you want to check something out and support us, this would be a great way to do so. This is my Hidden Emperor graphic novel. It's on Kickstarter right now, and the link's in the description below. Thank you guys so much. It's great sci-fi, a lot of fun. If you like Star Wars, Warhammer 40K, this is in that vein for you. Really appreciate you for being there and checking this out. All right, so Concord has been one of the video game industry's biggest failures of the year. It exemplifies the adage of get woke, go broke, and what's amounted to a glorified Overwatch clone launched with almost no players and one of its developers attacking gamers amid its failure. So there's been a lot going on this year, as we're aware. This kind of got put to a head when the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy hit in April. With that, as we know, we saw Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, just present Batman very poorly. It made a bunch of other woke talking points. Now they've got their Season 2 where they've got their weird trans Mrs. Freeze thing going on. And Overwatch, has just kept going on. Now, the PlayStation Network and Concord, they developed this game and wanted to make a woker version of that, as you can see with this super black female lead. Immediately as this game was coming out early on, a lot of players noticed one thing about the game, is in that there's just no real white characters in it. Very odd. Diversity is not very diverse, it turns out. And it's absolutely silly as you get into this sort of thing, right? And so with that, the game launched. It had a open beta test that people joined in, and there were not many people on it whatsoever. It was going to be a failure. Everybody knew it was going to be a failure from that point forward, and it did finally launch yesterday. And on the launch day on Steam, it got 600 plus players, so under 700 players on an online-only game. There's no single-player game to this. You have to be online to play this, which means you're going to be waiting in queues just hoping somebody shows up to play with you because nobody's playing. Not very good. Now, on top of that, you look at the opposite take, Black Myth Wukong, which did quite the opposite launch. The media tried to destroy it. They just ignored it. They produced their game. They worked very hard on it. They ignored all the woke comments. They didn't add any of that crap into it. And it ended up with 10 million sales just in its first 48 hours. Absolutely insane. Grumps pointed out yesterday as well that Assassin's Creed Valhalla took a couple of years to reach 20 million sales. So it's already at half that immediately upon its launch. And with word of mouth, that's just going up and up and up. Absolutely crazy over there, and well-deserved. So naturally, the gaming industry noticed what was happening with Overwatch, and they said, "You know what? We're gonna fix this game to be." No, of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. They blame gamers, as they always do. This is exactly what happens. It's a cycle. They make a product that nobody wants, and they know it, and they insert their LGBTQ, DEI agendas into things because they prioritize that over the gameplay. They prioritize that over everything else. Then they put it out there, and then they flip out and attack the fans. This doesn't just happen in gaming. It happens in movies. It happens in comic books. We get lots of don't play the game if you don't like it, sort of things. And we go, okay, fine, we won't. And that's what's been happening across the board here. We're seeing this happening more and more. We, of course, had the whole situation with Dustborn show up this week, which, if you think Overwatch is a disaster, Dustborn is even worse. The biggest, wokest game, the Sweet Baby Inc., model is an absolute disaster. It is something that is gone so far. It's crazy. But this is even crazier. So one of the developers started posting about this here, and you might want to notice something on Steam too before we get there. If you look at the first tag, just so you can learn. This is like a shooting-based game, basically. LGBTQ plus. So what are they doing in there? Is it like a LGBTQ plus orgy? I mean, I don't understand. Why is that number one thing right there? It's a shooter. What are they shooting exactly? Oh my gosh, very weird. So this is how they released the game to its failure. By the way, they've since removed that tag to try to hide the fact because they know that was just hampering their game right there, and it hasn't really done anything or moved the needle. So here's one of their alleged developers. He says, "It's Concord release day. So insanely proud of the team and what they and we accomplished. A labor of love like nothing else. Been playing it so much since early access started a few days ago, and I'm excited for it to be available to everyone." So interesting here, labor of love, all that. They got paid up the wazoo for this. Smash JT has a sort of element on this where it looks like it's about $200,000 per player so far has been spent on this game with like a giant budget. So this is a dismal failure, absolutely. Even though the game cost $39.99 with no single player element whatsoever, having 700 players on it is not going to move that needle to help the development cost of this game whatsoever. So it must have been a labor of love. Well, he got paid, and he's happy to get paid for his agenda. So he keeps continuing. He says, "I'm so honored to have had this be my first AAA game," and that's how you know it was super expensive. AAA is gaming terminology for those who for the like really high budget games. If you don't know. It was a huge learning experience, lots of struggles, but I'm sure it was a struggle. This is a struggle session now, but I'm glad to have gone through them. Time to go play. Well, nobody else is, except for the developers, I guess. That's probably the only people who are actually playing the game right now. So somebody actually replied to this and said, "I'm so sorry this has to be your first. I do not believe it's you or any of the other devs' fault that this game has performed so poorly. I can tell that a lot of effort was put into the completing of this game. It just came at the wrong time and genre." So this is not like some chud or whatever going out there and being like, it's the politics, even though that is the main problem of the game. This is somebody who's a fan of this guy, who's just saying, oh yeah, this is timing-wise like an Overwatch clone was just not going to make it. So you guys just botched the timing. And there is some element to that for every game, like timing of what the games are, of course, very much matters. But that is a large part of it. There's no reason to play this if you're already playing Overwatch, and there's no reason to go find this if you're not playing Overwatch, because you would be playing Overwatch if that's the case. It didn't really need a competitor unless it's going to do something different and unique, and the only different and unique thing it added was a bunch of fat black lesbians. So you don't really need that at all. Oh, it's not like Overwatch is much better in terms of wokeness or anything like that. So what's the point? So this guy goes, I don't really care. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? I'm sure having fun playing it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So it's just about his own personal fun rather than the game. When, gosh, can you hear this? The people who are funding these games, these developers don't care about what the gamers want. They don't care about making a product that's actually going to get out there and sell for you. They just want to have their own fun playing things. So give them $200 million to make a game. Why don't you? It's so insulting to the people who are funding this. This is so insulting to the gamers out there. It's so insulting to the YouTube commentary community that's actually paying attention to gaming and actually criticizing things. It's just a wanton and flippant effort to ignore critics and deride them. And this is what they do every single time. The woke people who are involved in these things don't care about anything other than their own little personal politics. This free gunner M probably self-identifies with one of these weird LGBTQ characters in this stupid game, and that's the entire point about it. It's about a self-insert every single time, and feeling seen with their weird sexual fetishes and things like that. And that's why these always fail, because most people don't want to deal with that. Most people don't want to look at that. Most people don't want to see that in their day-to-day basis, let alone when they get home from work, it's like, I've had a hard day. What do I want to? Oh, I want to get lectured about not being inclusive enough in a video game. It's like, yeah, right. It's insane that these people do this. But it's more insane that they keep attacking customers, keep attacking the players. and they should be shunned for that. That's the one thing these people, it should absolutely never do. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. And guys, I love my customers. I love you. Please, I love the readers. Check this out. This is a wonderful sci-fi graphic novel. Thank you so much for making this an incredible success so far. Appreciate you for being there. It's in the description below.